Hello friends, welcome to CEC online lectures. So in continuing with our topic on recruitment and placement, today we are going to learn of the sources of recruitment. So we know that whenever there is a vacancy to be filled, organizations they advertise through different media and accordingly applications are collected for these vacant positions. So they make the candidates available for filling those vacancies, and it is followed by the selection procedure and the subsequent placement of the selected people on the proper job. And the next step is the induction, orientation, and the onboarding that we discussed in the previous lectures. So, a pool of candidates, the interested candidates, and the eligible candidates is created through the recruitment process. So, recruitment is a crucial part of developing and maintaining an effective as well as an efficient team. And a good recruitment strategy will definitely cut down the time and money spent, which would have incurred for the extensive training and development of unqualified resources. So, if your recruitment strategy is a good strategy, is an effective strategy, then automatically you will be hiring good people, qualified and skilled people. And when you hire qualified and skilled people, the cost of their training is drastically lessened. So it saves a lot of time, energy, and money. So, coming to our topic for today, the sources of recruitment. Well, have you ever thought of that how a recruiter or the HR department finds the right candidates? Recruiters use different methods to source, screen, shortlist, and select people as per the requirements of the organization. Recruitment sources explain means by which an organization reaches out to the potential job seekers. So, talking of the sources of recruitment, broadly, there are two sources of recruitment: the external sources and the internal sources. The external sources are advertisements, campus recruitments, employment exchange, labor unions, employment agencies, and some unsolicited applicants or the walk-in interviews. The internal sources are promotion, retirements, former employees, transfers, internal job posting, employee referrals, and some previous applicants. So let's learn about each one of these sources in detail. Beginning with the internal sources, the first internal source can be promotion. So, as the name suggests, it involves the movement of employees from a lower level position to a higher level position, and it is often accompanied by changes in authority, duties, responsibilities, and definitely the status and the remuneration. The promotion policy is often considered to be a motivational technique for employees who work hard and who are performing well in the organization, or who are performing at par with what is required at the moment. So, the important requirement for implementing promotion policy is that the terms, conditions, rules, and regulations should be well defined. So, the people who are working, they must be aware of the promotion policies, so that they have a definite target that yes, if I am working at this particular position, and if I perform well, I will be promoted to the next level. So these rules and regulations and conditions must be well defined. And many organizations today fill the higher vacant positions with the process of promotions internally. The next source is retirements. Well, at times it is often observed that the retired employees, they may be given an extension of 1 year or 2 years or maybe 3 years in their service, depending on their health and their activeness in their jobs. And this is specifically when there is a non-availability of suitable candidates for the post. And it is a very cost-effective and a time-saving method if the organization re-employs its retired people. The next source is the former employees. Well, it is a process wherein the ex-employees are called back depending upon the requirement of a particular position. It is again a cost-effective process, and it saves a lot of time. It saves lot of time mainly because the people are well aware of the roles and responsibilities of a job, and they are already aware and acclimatized with the environment as well as the culture of the organization, and they need to spend less on the training and development. So it is a win-win for both the employee as well as the organization or the employer. Then next source is the transfers. Well, transfers refers to a process of interchanging from one job to another without any change in the rank and responsibilities. So it is often also known as a lateral movement, and you must be remembering that we learned of this lateral recruitment in one of the previous lectures on recruitment. So a transfer is an example of lateral movement within the same grade from one job to another, and they may lead to changes in duties and responsibilities or working conditions, but not necessarily salary, because the role and the designation also might be the same. And it also involves shifting of employees from one department to another, or from one location to another. Location can be within the same city, or it can be in some other geographical location, and of course depending upon the requirement of the position where there is a vacancy. So transfers again is a good option. Next source is the internal job postings or advertisement. It is yet another way of hiring people from within the organization. What the organization does, as far as the internal job postings or advertisements is concerned, is that they publicize or advertise these job openings on their bulletin boards or electronic media or some similar outlets, and there is an open invitation to all the employees where they can apply for these vacant positions. Now it is a very motivating strategy, we can say, because it provides equal opportunities to all employees working in the organization. So it is a transparent way of advertising any job. So it provides equal opportunities. Everybody in the organization is free to apply for that particular job. So advantage of this method is that it offers a chance to highly qualified applicants working in the organization to look for growth opportunities without changing their location and disturbing their family life. So we all know that we do not want to disturb our family life, and if say another job opening is there but you have to move to some other city or another location, so everybody wants that their family life should not be disturbed at the cost of moving your job. So internal job posting is very beneficial from that perspective, we can say, because here the employee gets a growth opportunity, career advancement opportunity right within the organization or the branch where they are working. So the next source we are going to discuss is employee referrals. So it is the process of hiring new resources through references of your current employees. And in this process, the current employees refer to some of their friends or relatives for filling up vacant positions. And it is often considered as an effective way of sourcing the right candidates, and again at a very low cost. So organizations, they do encourage employee referrals because it is cost effective, it saves time as compared to hiring candidates from external sources. And many organizations, they do motivate their employees by rewarding them with a referral bonus for a successful hire. If you are referring a friend of yours to a particular post, and the hiring is successful and he is performing well, then you will definitely get a referral bonus. So again, a motivating strategy of the organizations. Then another interesting source is previous applicants. So what is done here is that the hiring team, they checks the profiles of some previous applicants from the recruitment database. We all know that today every organization maintains their database of all the applicants who apply for various job postings at various times. So these applicants are basically those who had applied for jobs in the past but were not selected, or maybe they were selected but they could not join due to any reason. So these are very good resources, and they can be easily approached, and it is again an inexpensive way of filling up the vacant positions. Now let's learn that what are the advantages of internal sources. So be it the internal sources or be it the external sources, they both have their set of advantages as well as the disadvantages. So if we talk of the advantages of internal sources, it is simple, easy, quick and cost effective. And there is no need of induction or onboarding or training, as employees already know their job duties and responsibilities. And then of course it will save a lot of time of acclimatizing employees in the organizational environment and the organizational culture, because when a new hire or anybody from who doesn't know the organization well, who doesn't know the organizational culture and environment, he or she will take some amount of time in adjusting to that climate, in adjusting to the duties and responsibilities, and of course their performance will come. It will take some time to them to perform to the best of their abilities. So when you are hiring from internal sources, that time is definitely saved. Then it motivates employees to work hard, because if I know that I will be promoted if I work hard, and it is not the case that somebody else from outside will come and become my boss. No. So if I have the opportunity to be a boss, or to achieve some higher position or post, then of course it will motivate me to work harder. Then it enhances the engagement and retention. See, most of the employees, they leave the organization at times when they do not see a growth in their in their careers. So advancement in your career, growth opportunities in the organization are very important, we can say motivators, that motivate employees to be retained. And when I see that I can grow up to a certain level in this organization as well, so why would I bother to change my organization? So we can say the internal sources are a very good method, or a very good source for employees to be engaged as well as retained in the organizations. And it also helps in developing employee loyalty towards the organization. So it is like, if I am promoted, my hard work is recognized by the employer or the organization, it will definitely improve my loyalty towards the organization. So if we have advantages, we certainly have some drawbacks of internal recruitment. So let's learn some drawbacks of internal recruitment. Well, it prevents the new hiring of potential resources who can bring innovative ideas and new thinking onto the table. So when we hire people from outside, they definitely have a thought process or some innovative ideas. So by recruiting internal people, we are preventing ourselves from those innovative ideas. We are preventing ourselves from bringing in those innovations or creativity. So that is a major drawback of internal recruitment. And secondly, the scope of internal recruitment is limited, because not all vacancies can be filled by internal sources. So each and every post and position cannot be filled by internal sources. We definitely need external sources as well. Then there can be issues in between the employees who are promoted and who are not promoted. So we all know that there are office politics and organizational politics is also there. It is not always that hard work is recognized and only a hard working and high performing individual is promoted always. So we all know of these kinds of things happening in organizations. So when a non-deserving a person is promoted, there can be jealousy, aggression, stress. So all these are considered to be drawbacks of internal recruitment. Then if an internal resource is promoted or transferred, then that position will automatically remain vacant. So in turn, one post is being filled, but another vacant position is again becoming vacant. So employees then who are not promoted, they may feel frustrated and demotivated, as I already stated this thing. So we do have, drawbacks of internal recruitment also. Now coming to external sources. Well, external resources refer to hiring employees from outside the organization or the applicants seeking job opportunities. In this case, they are those who are external to the organization. And external employees, they bring innovativeness and fresh thoughts to the organization, which was a drawback of internal sources, which we just learned. And although this is an expensive and a tough source, it has tremendous potential of driving the organization towards achieving its goals. So let's learn of all these external sources of recruitment. The first one being advertisements. We are all aware of advertisements, and we have been using advertisements as a source. And the most popular and much preferred source of external candidates or external people. It is the best way to source candidates in a short span, and it offers an efficient way of screening the candidates' specific requirements. It is best suitable when a large number of people are to be hired in a short duration, and that too from geographically diverse areas. So I do not want to hire people only in the vicinity of the organization. I am open to hiring people from anywhere around the country, or anywhere, maybe globally also, if we think in a global perspective. So advertisement is a very effective method of bringing in people of diverse cultures and diverse geographic areas. Though it is one of the costliest ways to recruit candidates, but when time and number are important, then advertisement is the best source of recruitment. So if we have to hire a large number of candidates, that too in a short duration of time, then advertisement is the best method. Though it is said and it is believed, and it is of course the one of the costliest ways to recruit, but then it is also effective. So there are certain types of advertisements. It can be internet ads. So in the age of internet, prospective candidates for specialized jobs in large organizations, especially the multinational companies, they may be attracted through internet ads, because they might not be reading the newspaper, but they are active on the internet. So internet ads again is a effective advertisement strategy. So such ads have universal access to highly qualified people, but only limited to people having internet facilities. Then we have newspaper ads. We all are quite aware of this. These are the ads in newspapers, and they may be published without much of a lead time. And it has flexibility in terms of information and can conveniently target a specific geographic location. So if we are targeting a specific geographic location, then newspaper ads are the best source. Then we of course have the social media ads that we had already discussed it in my previous lecture on how social media is becoming a great source and a fun source of advertising posts and reaching out to the potential candidates, because the youngsters, the millennials, they are hooked all the times to their social media accounts, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, or any Instagram or Snapchat. So today organizations are using or exploiting social media to reach out to people, especially the younger generation. So this is where organizations post vacancies on their social media pages like Facebook, Instagram, etc. And there are other job portals also, like there is LinkedIn, there is Glassdoor, Indeed, Shine. They also advertise vacancies. So this is also it may also be called as e-recruitment. So you are using the internet to recruit people. So the next external source is campus recruitment. You again must be aware of that many educational institutes, such as colleges, universities, they offer opportunities for hiring students specifically of the final year. And in this process, the organizations, they visit the technical, management, or professional institutions for recruiting students directly for new positions. And it is an easy and an economical method, wherein the students get good opportunity to prove themselves and get selected for a good job. Then we have employment exchanges. Though it was considered to be the last resort of organizations to reach out to an employment exchange, but yes, it had been used previously. And in India, employment exchanges are run by the government, and but it is limited to source of recruitment for unskilled, semi-skilled, or clerical posts only. So at times, though it is obligatory for the business concerns to notify their vacancies to the employment exchange. So the job seekers and the job givers, they are brought into contact by these employment exchanges. The next is labor unions. So, in occupations like the construction business, the hotels, or maritime industry, that is the industries where there is instability of employment, all recruits usually they come from the unions. So, however, in other industries, unions may be asked to recommend candidates either as a goodwill gesture or as a courtesy towards the union. So, just as a goodwill gesture, the HR might want, labor unions to send in some people. So, it is advantageous from management point of view as it saves cost of recruitment, and also it helps in developing good relations with the labor unions. Then we come to the employment agencies. There are basically three forms of employment agencies: the public, private, and the management consulting firms. So, the first one being the public employment agencies, they mostly tend to attract and list individuals who are unskilled or who have had minimum training. So, thus, public agencies, they tend to attract and place predominantly the low skilled workers, and it is mostly free of cost, means there is no fee that is being charged from either the employee or the employer. The second one is the private employment agencies, and the major difference between a public one and a private employment agency is their image. So, whereas private agencies are believed to offer positions to applicants of a higher caliber, more skilled, more qualified, provide a more complete line of services. And they advertise the position, screen the applicants against the criteria specified by the employer. The private agency's fee can be observed by either the employer or the employee. So either the employer will be paying the fee, or the employee will be paying, or there can be split, means 50% the employer will pay and 50% the employee might be paying. So the alternative chosen is usually dependent on the demand and supply situation in the community involved, in which industry you are hiring people. So then there are headhunters or the management consulting firms. These are basically agencies who are actually specialized private employment agencies. So it can be considered as an extension or specialized private employment agencies, and these specialize in middle level and top level executive placements only. So in addition to the level at which they recruit, what distinguishes them from most private agencies are their higher fee. So they are charging higher fee from as compared to the private agencies, and then they have a wider nationwide contacts, and they apply due diligence in research of the people that they are hiring. So these are the three types of employment agencies. Then next is the unsolicited applicants or the walk-ins. So companies generally receive some unsolicited applications from job seekers at various points of time. So the number of such applications depends on the economic condition, the image of the company, the job seeker's perception of the types of jobs that may be available, etc. And such applicants are generally kept for future vacancies. So when it arises, the company intimates the candidate to apply through some formal channels, and then they are considered for the final various stages of recruitment as well as selection. The next interesting source is competitors. So by offering better terms and conditions of service, the human resource managers, they try to get the employees working in the competitors organization. So this is also known as poaching or raiding. So I had already discussed this also, as I already stated that at times it is considered to be an unethical practice, but yes, poaching and raiding is a source of external candidates, where you directly hire people from your competitors organization. Now coming to the benefits of these external sources, well, as we already learned that it encourages new opportunities for job seekers, and the organization branding increases through external sources. There will be no biasing or partiality between the employees, because everybody is unknown. Every single recruitment, all those people who come into the recruitment procedure, they are strangers for the hiring team. So they do not have any kind of partiality or bias with those. So everybody has an equal chance to be selected. So the scope of selecting the right candidate is more, because of the large number of candidates who are appearing. So obviously, when we use sources which are external to the organization, and especially when we advertise in a newspaper, so its reach is larger. So because of that larger reach, and because large number of people get to know of those vacancies, so large number of people will apply. And when this pool of candidates is large, so there are chances that you might find right candidates. Whereas when you are hiring people from within, so you are only limited to say 10 or 15 such employees. So you are, and it might be lesser than that. So it is, there are chances that you might not find the appropriate candidate. So if you have advantages, certainly we have disadvantages of recruiting through external sources. Well, we know that it consumes a time, more time, if we say, because advertisement and selection procedure, it is a lengthy process. And also, secondly, the cost incurred is very high when compared to recruiting through internal sources. So we had learned this as an advantage of internal sources, that its cost is lesser. But yes, if we are hiring from external sources, cost will be incurred. And certainly the external candidates, they demand more remunerations and more benefits as compared to people who are already working within the organization, because they know, even if you are not getting a good remuneration, or not much salary is high, but you are at least relieved that you do not have to shift your family, or move from one city to another. So even if that hike or promotion is not very good, you still adjust to that particular remuneration or benefits whatever the organization is providing. But when you're hiring people external to the organization, then definitely they are going to demand a greater hike and more remuneration and a better benefits. So that was all in the sources of recruitment. So friends, today we learned of the various methods or various sources that are used by the organizations in the recruitment process. So we talked of external sources and we talked of the internal sources. Both the internal as well as the external sources, they have their certain drawbacks, and both have their advantages. So it is up to the organization that they have to really make a strategy and make a plan whether they have to use the external sources or they have to use the internal sources. So depending upon the strategy of the organization, what they plan to do, these sources may be used. So that is all in today's lecture. Thank you so much.